After colonialism, many former French colonies in West Africa withheld deep anger towards France, considering it as a neo-colonial oppressor. This feeling has been fostered by constant French intervention into the domestic affairs, economic exploitation, and cultural imperialism. As a consequence, many countries have witnessed political instability, including coups, anti-French protests in response to their dissatisfaction with French government. Similar doubts and fears are being expressed in Senegal with the rise of 44-year-old Bassirou Diomaye Faye to power, a Pan-Africanist, also serving as the country's youngest president. There are speculations that President Faye would build a confederation in military alliance with neighboring countries such as Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, in order to diminish dependency on Western powers and oppose neocolonial policies. The potential of Senegal getting into such a confederation represents numerous geopolitical considerations and challenges. On one hand, it represents a significant change towards greater African unity and self-determination independent of other forces. It shows a desire to assert sovereignty or rejecting perceived Western exploitation and oppression. However, it also creates diplomatic and practical difficulties, such as managing existing alliances and commercial agreements, as well as the possibility of Western retaliation. The invitation to like the video as well as the demand to give a remark on Senegal's future federation with anti-French states indicates the importance of public discourse and interaction, shaping African political processes. It emphasizes the need of greater support and engagement in decisions that may have enormous consequences for the country's future. As Senegal considers its future decisions, it faces a wavy point in its history, combining ambitions for autonomy with the difficulties of international relations. Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso's governments have fearlessly proclaimed their intention to join a confederation, following their resignation from ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, an organization seemed to be influenced and exploited by the West. This decision is as a result of what they regard as illegitimate and harsh penalties imposed by ECOWAS, pushing the three countries towards exploring alternatives routes for growth and development. The Malian government spokesperson said that diplomats from the three nations have urged that their respective heads of state form a cooperative federation. The reason for this federation is to strengthen diplomatic relations and promote economic development in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. The proposal also includes widening the objectives of the Sahel State Alliance, which was created in September 2023, shortly after the coup in Niger, to foster a more regional collaboration and solidarity. The decision to join a confederation indicates the determination of West African states to assert their autonomy and pursue their own development agendas free of any external influence. It indicates a growing dissatisfaction with international organizations considered to serve foreign interests and not the interest of the people. Speaking to reporters, Minister of Territorial Organization and Decentralization justified ECOWAS actions for threatening military juntas' actions against the sovereign state, just because they seek self-determination. This view reflects the discontent that many people in the region have with the organizations that they believe are eroding their autonomy and sovereignty. This present ECOWAS is a fascinating example of what the AES will never be, as it will continue to be an alliance of government brought together by the shared goal of African exploitation. This new period will see our state alliance strengthen even more, establishing itself as a force in the service of peace, development, security, and the integration of our peoples for the betterment of our nations. Going back to Senegal, a country in Western Africa, recognized for its democracy. However, former President Macky Sall's attempt to push forward the country's presidential election almost destroyed the democracy. Senegal's newly elected president, President Diomaye Faye, has come under fire as many Africans want to know his position on the Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso issues. Senegal shares borders with junta-led Guinea to the south and Mali to the southeast. The new president is yet to respond to inquiries regarding Senegal's joining the confederation alongside Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. However, we have gotten some critical information that may influence his decisions. Please subscribe to our channel to remain updated with any of our upcoming geopolitical videos in Africa. Do you remember France colonized Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Senegal? I am glad you do. A viral video according to show Senegal's new president, disparaging the country's former colonial power, France, has been circulating online since he was inaugurated on the 24th of March. Furnished purported to depict President Faye has been widely published on social media, with subtitles instigating he has instructed France to leave us alone. In the video, a man expressing himself in English says it's time for France to take its knee off our neck and halt this cruel oppression.
And put an end to this unjust oppression. Centuries of misery, human trafficking, colonization, and neo-colonization have caused immeasurable suffering. It's time to put an end to this cycle of oppression. It's high time for France to leave us alone.
New Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko is an anti-French and pan-Africanist campaigner. According to a report on a speech by local media in 2021, Mr. Sonko stated that it is time for France to leave us alone. This is an indication that the future president will most likely join the Confederation. Since entering power, Sonko and Faye have pledged to examine ties between former colonial power France, bringing about concerns about the country's future foreign policy. Anti-French sentiment in order Francophone West African countries, such as Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have fueled military coup attempts. France has withdrawn militarily from these countries, which have turned to Russia. The anti-French views indicate that France has been a parasite, leaving on the suffering and enslavement of Africans, by establishing puppet leaders in their former colonies. However, young Africans are rising up against the French governance. In fact, many Senegalese are demanding for the French to leave their nation. French cooperations and politicians that have exploited the country must leave with immediate effect. The 400 French soldiers stationed in the country, known as the French elements of Senegal who offer regional military training, must be sent away as they have been in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Hearing the new Senegalese government's anti-French policy, President of France, Emmanuel Macron with his tail between his legs stated that he wished to continue and strengthen the connection between their countries. Macron's office claimed that he spoke with Faye on Friday for about half an hour, which resulted in a very positive chat. Diomaye Faye, Senegal's youngest leader, has made it clear that he intends to prioritize Senegal or maintaining a position relationship with their former colonial power. As we are all very aware and have noticed with Rwanda, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, placing Senegal first will imply removal of the French. Please share this video with your family members and friends. Let everyone know that Africa must be set free from all foreign influence. Meanwhile, Senegal's new Pan-Africanist president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, called for a stronger unity among African countries in the face security difficulties, Western domination and exploitation, Western violent influence and neocolonialism. Faye underlines Senegal's commitment to the continuous efforts to promote peace, security, stability, and African integration. This could serve as an indication that Faye will lead Senegal into making a federation alongside Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. When anti-French sentiments erupted in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, Macron quickly condemned the coup leaders because he had no idea of the entire power that was against France. However, due to a lack of supply and the isolation of French embassies and armies in these nations, France had no choice but to surrender and the French ambassadors escaped to France. Macron has obviously learned his lessons and is attempting to charm Senegal's new president with sweet words. However, Senegalese and Africans are waiting patiently to see what happens between Senegal and France in the coming days. Africa must be free, unified and sovereign. In the past, we were dependent on other leaders, but a good number of them failed us and sold us out to colonial masters. Those who stood up against the new colonialists were mercilessly silenced. There have also been attempts on the life of Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traore. So now Africans are hoping and looking up to younger African leaders to bring about change on the continent. What do you think of Diomaye Faye? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Should Senegal's new president unite with leaders from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso to oppose Western oppressors and neocolonialism? Thank you for watching to the end. Please leave your thoughts about France's presence in Africa in the comment section below.